Hello everybody, Fast Hippie here. We're looking at a game of Moon Knight versus Iyd. This is, I think, the 4th or 5th round of the Argent Arena tournament. And this is in the losers bracket. Losers goes out. This is actually game 3 of the match. So whoever wins this match will go on to the next round. Moon Knight is playing Riflam and Iyd is playing Khadath. If you know the game at all, Riflam is kind of a really difficult character that can play to fight against any specific character. And Khadath is kind of a specialty fighter that uses a portal to get a variety of very powerful effects, including slowing your opponent down and blocking their attacks completely. So Moon Knight starts out with the residual shot here. As you'll see throughout this game, Moon Knight focuses on range, especially shot, but residual shot ends up being a really good start here because the stun guard 4 is a good counter to the low amount of damage that Khadath can naturally do. He has a couple, maybe 1 or 2 plus damages, but not much, and so for that reason, the stun guard 4 is just enough for Moon Knight to take the blow without having to put any resources into putting into additional stun guard. So with the addition of the power token and the residual, his shot is actually a 5 power shot here, which makes it a pretty scary attack throughout. What to note here, Moon Knight actually retreats away from the trap so he doesn't get slowed down next beat instead of moving onto the trap, which makes sense. But immediately he plays Alchemaic Drive here, and I think Alchemaic Drive was a counter to the potential teleport here. Teleport could have made it so that he couldn't hit unless he was if he was behind the trap. So Alchemaic Drive would allow Moon Knight to move onto the trap, and with the addition of the range token, he actually would have had full board range while standing on the trap. As it is, it counters with Lure Grasp, which does beat Alchemaic Drive because it's faster, but it actually only deals 1 damage. So this was more of a positioning type move. Iyd got Moon Knight standing next to the trap without putting him on the trap, so that teleport was still a legitimate move. So beat 3, Moon Knight goes experimental install here, and what's interesting is Moon Knight antis the stun guard reagent, and then he also antis stun guard on the force in response to his opponent's attack with the force. This seems crazy. This is so much stun guard. You get 3 from experimental, 2 from the thing, and 2 from the force, and it actually ends up being exactly enough stun guard to take this blow. So I know Moon Knight did the math here, but I was just really impressed by this move here because it ended up just being the perfect counter here, and it gives him just enough stun guard to take this blow and strike back. In addition, since he played experimental, his install will get a small speed bonus at the end of the speed 2 because he's able to put the speed reagent because he got hit this beat. So install at the end of his beat, he'll be able to recover any reagent, and he actually recovers the range reagent, I think, which is seems to be his plan throughout. He focuses on adding range onto a variety of his moves and getting that additional range and playing moves with range, such as drive and shot. And I think this is probably a smart move because his opponent is trying to use the trap to zone him out, and by constantly putting range on his attacks, he's able to get past that zoning that Khadath can do. So Moon Knight plays Residual Dodge here, and his opponent plays Teleport Drive. So this is going to be Residual Dodge is really nice because Residual allows you to reposition at the end of beat. So Residual Dodge ends up being a very powerful movement setup type move because it allows you not only to get the dodge for positioning, but then also to get that end move 1. And that end move 1 can actually be extremely useful for that positioning after your opponent gets a lot of effects. So like in this case, his opponent got to do a bunch of repositioning with teleport, and then afterwards Moon Knight gets that move 1, which actually ends up being extremely powerful since he's able to get off the trap and get on the other side of it with Khadath with a trap behind him, which is exactly where you want Khadath to be. So Moon Knight plays substantial shot here, and because of the residual shot early and the +2 speed off substantial shot actually ends up being a 6 speed shot, which is just completely insane, and it also is a 7 damage shot, so it could stun right through his strike. Holy moly, this shot. So this is all because on that first beat he did residual shot with power, so it made shot a 5 power, and with substantial now it's a 6 power, so it's just an extremely powerful shot, and Moon Knight is able to actually just get a free beat here, stunning his opponent. Even though his opponent played grasp, he's actually faster than him with shot here. So now we are moving into beat 6, and let's see what happens here. Yeah, so Moon Knight plays Alchemaic Install, so he's continuing to play Install over and over here. And Install, he's going to get the additional power on it. So if this is successful with the Stun Guard 8, it probably will. He's actually going to get additional power and additional priority, which is going to make Install pretty scary, and especially that it has a 1 to 3 range. And so his opponent is going to do a dodge here, but the thing is Install actually no longer gains the reagent on hit, it just gains it at end of beat. So because of this, Moon Knight essentially gets a reagent for free, which is just extremely powerful. So yeah, it was just a really amazing move. He had full board, he had a huge amount of stun guard, and he was getting all of the bonuses on install. So he's making install a really scary move at this point. So now we move into beat 7. And Moon Knight plays experimental dodge. This is another example of doing a dodge with a slow after move. It's not an end of move, but it is a before advanced one. And because it is so slow, it's almost as good. Not quite as good, but almost as good. Plus, having a slow dodge lets you respond to your opponent's start of beats if they have them. So we watched this early in the tournament where Riflam used experimental dodge against Karen with her start of beat movement effects, and Moon Knight was able to react in a way that was to his advantage. So it can be very powerful. So Moon Knight is going to set up a sword in the middle, which makes sense. Iyd's going to be able to get all the setup he wants with teleport drive here. He'll be able to set the trap where he wants. He'll be able to set himself where he wants and put Moon Knight in a pretty difficult position. So Moon Knight has a pretty scary drive that he said at beat 2. High speed, lots of range. And so I think what happened this beat is that it was accounting for that drive and went for a move that was faster, because even though he's standing on the trap, that drive is actually pretty quick, and so you need a pretty quick response. And so Moon Knight kind of does the double take and plays burst here, and burst ends up being extremely powerful because the only range option it had at this point was shot, and I think shot actually got outsped by the drive, so this ends up being just basically set up based on having that drive so fast from the beginning of the game. So although it looks like it was kind of the obvious move, I think if we looked at the pairs, Iyd was trying to account for the drive, and that's why he got caught by this residual burst. So now we are moving into beat 9. We'll see what happens here. So Moon Knight chooses to stay in the corner, which makes sense because he doesn't want to be standing next to the trap. And he plays Alchemaic Shot here. Now, Shot has been getting buffed up the whole time. It's, I think, 5 power and 4 speed at this point. And Alchemaic is going to give it additional speed. So his shot is just completely crazy. And in fact, he antis the range here, which gives him a full board range shot. And with the additional 2 priority, ends up being a 6 speed shot. So even though his opponent plays switch dodge here, because Alchemaic is full board range, his opponent can actually do nothing to dodge this. And Moon Knight is able to take this game. Oh man, this was a really impressive game. I was so impressed by Moon Knight's play with Riflam. I play Riflam a lot. He's very challenging. And Moon Knight just made this look so easy. So for all you out there playing those interesting rogue characters and you're struggling to win games, with enough practice and enough focus, you can make even the Riflamist of characters just play amazingly. Anyway, we will see Moon Knight in the later parts of the tournament here, and I think the next recording we'll see is him against Lenny. So anyway, I'll see you guys around. Bye.